Are you looking for top 10 mysterious tidal islands across the world? A tidal island is a bit of land this is related to the mainland at low tide, at which period they may be reached taking walks. At excessive tide, but its miles absolutely reduce off from the mainland and turns into an actual island. Tidal islands are occasionally related to the mainland with the aid of using a synthetic causeway permitting clean get admission to for sight visitors wishing to move over. However, even those can get submerged with the aid of using the ocean. So usually test the tide instances earlier than you visit, or get equipped to swim back. Here is the top 10 mysterious tidal islands across the world. 10. Enoshima. Enoshima is a small tidal island, approximately 4 km in circumference, on the mouth of the Kades River, which flows into Sagami Bay in Japan, part of the metropolis of Fujisawa. Its miles related to the mainland with the aid of using a 600-meter lengthy bridge, and all through low tide you could stroll to the island at the uncovered sandbars, adjacent to the nearest seaside to Tokyo and Yokohama. The island and the close-by coast are the hub of a famous hotel area. A fundamental appeal at the island is the botanical garden, which turned into advanced with the aid of using a British service provider in 1880 and draws over half of 1 million site visitors at 12 months. 9. Castle Tioram. Castle Tioram is a ruined fortress that sits at the tidal island Eilean Donan in Loch Moidart, Scotland. Though hidden from the ocean, the fortress controls get admission to the Loch Shield. The curtain wall is thought up to now from the 13th century, whilst the tower and different indoors homes had been built among the 15th and 17th century. The fortress may be reached taking walks throughout the tidal causeway. However, there's no get admission to the indoors due to the danger of falling masonry. 8. Lindisfarne. Lindisfarne is a tidal island off the northeast coast of England, additionally called Holy Island. Around 635 at a monastery turned into based on Lindisfarne, which have become the bottom for Christian evangelizing with inside the north of England. In 793, a Viking raid on Lindisfarne precipitated a whole lot consternation at some stage in the Christian West, and is now regularly taken as the start of the Viking Age. A small fortress turned into constructed right here with inside the 16th century. Today the island is a famous traveler appeal. Visitors wishing to stroll among the mainland and the island are entreated to preserve to the marked path, test tide instances, and climb it carefully, and are seeking for nearby recommendation if in doubt. 7. Nang Yuan. Nang Yuan is a small island located off the northwest coast of Koh Tao. The stunning island is fashioned with the aid of using 3 separate rocky outcrops interconnected with the aid of using an extended sandy seaside. At excessive tides, maximum of the seaside receives submerged, developing 3 separate tidal islands. Just 10 meters from the shore, the coral reefs and marine existence are sincerely seen with inside the obvious blue seas. The island is famous with day trippers. There is likewise one hotel placed at the center island with a complete variety of facilities. 6. Haji Ali Dargah. The Haji Ali Dargah is a mosque placed on an islet off the coast of Mumbai and splendid instance of Indian Islamic structure. The Dargah incorporates the tomb of Sayyid Pir Haji Ali Shah Bukhari. The Haji Ali Dargah turned into built in 1431 with the aid of using a wealthy Muslim service provider who gave up all his worldly possessions earlier than creating a pilgrimage to Mecca. The islet is related to the metropolis with the aid of using a slim causeway, which is almost a kilometer lengthy. As the causeway receives submerged all through the excessive tides, the Dargah is out there most effective all through low tide. This stroll at the causeway, with the ocean on each side, is one of the highlights of a journey to the shrine. 5. St. Michael's Mount. St. Michael's Mount is a tidal island placed 366 meters off the Mounts Bay coast of Cornwall in southwestern England. It is united with the mainland with the aid of using a synthetic causeway, satisfactory most effective at mid to low tide. Product of granite sets, the Chapel of St. Michael, a 15th century constructing, has an embattled tower in a single perspective of that's a small turret which served for the steering of ships. Some research suggests that any upward push in ocean waters in addition to present herbal erosion might place a number of the Cornwall coast at danger, inclusive of St. Michael's Mount. 4. Jindo and Modo. Jindo and Modo are islands placed within the southwest of South Korea. 2 instances at 12 months a herbal causeway opens because of extraordinarily low tides, connecting the islands for a duration of 1 hour. The causeway is sort of 3 kilometers lengthy and over 40 meters 120 feet wide. A competition is devoted to this herbal marvel, and those from everywhere in the global attend each 12 months. On every of those days, sight visitors and vacationers from every island historically stroll to the center of the causeway to fulfill each other and celebrate. 3. Eilean Donan. Eilean Donan is a small tidal island in Loch Duich within the western highlands of Scotland. It is hooked up to the mainland with the aid of using a footbridge and lies approximately half of a mile from the village of Dorney. The island is ruled with the aid of using a picturesque medieval fortress. The unique fortress turned into constructed within the early 13th century as a protection towards the Vikings. Today, the fortress is one of the maximum photograph sites in Scotland and a famous venue for weddings and movie locations. It has seemed in such movies as Highlander and The World Is Not Enough. 2. Sveti Stefan. Sveti Stefan is a beach hotel in western Montenegro at the Budva Riviera. In the 15th century, the island turned into a small fisherman's village. In the 50s, the ultimate citizens of the village had been evicted, and Sveti Stefan turned into converted right into a luxurious town lodge. The streets, walls, roofs, and facades of the homes had been preserved, whilst the indoors of the constructing had been converted to provide the maximum contemporary day luxurious lodge comfort. Among its visitors had been Marilyn Monroe, Sophia Loren, Kirk Douglas, and Claudia Schiffer. It fell into decline all through the breakup of the previous Yugoslav Federation. In 2007, a Singapore primarily based totally luxurious hotel operator gained a settlement to hire Sveti Stefan for a 12 months duration. The island turned into ultimately closed, and vast renovations started with plans to reopen in 2009. 1. Mont Saint-Michel. Mont Saint-Michel is a small tidal island placed simply off the coast of the northern French vicinity of Normandy. The island is excellent, called the web page of the extraordinary and well-preserved Norman Benedictine Abbey of Saint-Michel at the height of the rocky island, surrounded with the aid of using the winding streets and convoluted structure of the medieval town. In 1067, the monastery of Mont Saint-Michel gave its guide to Duke William of Normandy and is declared to the throne of England. It turned into rewarded with homes and grounds at the English facet of the channel, inclusive of a small island, which, modeled after the mount, have become a Norman priory named St. Michael's Mount. With tides that could range significantly, the mount can nevertheless pose risks for sight visitors who keep away from the causeway and strive the dangerous stroll throughout the sands from the neighboring coast.